And those missionaries had received the blessing of Nicomedes Keith, the champion of faith, who had traveled with them in their starbecue. Bark is an archaic term for a naval vessel, pronounced bark. That probably makes a lot more sense. A star bark. I like it. Yes, let's go with that. That seems to make more sense than a starbecue. Although I like starbecue. I'm honestly like, I think I'm going to name my next barbecue a starbecue. That seems awesome. I mean, I love the concept of a star barbecue, but I think that means starship HB. Okay, well, that's embarrassing. Thank you for educating me. Okay, I feel a little bit silly, maybe a little sheltered, but the bunnies always keep me on the straight and narrow. Thank you so much. High five, bunnies. So right now, we started in the Fortibundus sector. Right? We ended up traveling over to Sano's tomb. That was an easy one. No dangers there at all. But after setting down and extracting him, we came on back. We went to Avioris. And then it seemed like there was only ever one other path, and that was to go out here, which was dangerous. So I utilized one of our navigator points to bring it down to unsafe. We traveled, we lucked out, we haven't explored it at all. But then I noticed down below, it said chart new routes. And it got bigger. It just keeps going. And look at this. Like, oh my God. Now we have unknown ships, and I'm guessing they want to fight. So we shall give them a fight, hopefully, and not die. Are we 3v1 again? Oh my God, they've got a lance. I didn't think they actually had. Oh, they're apostates. Oh, this isn't good. Okay, so we haven't even moved yet, and they've got the drop on the grub droop. We may have a bit of a problem. Oh, at least they're not hitting the same position. Is it only 3v1? Oh my gosh. Wow, we need to restart the shields pronto. Oh, please don't shoot again. Holy crap, that was fast. Wow, things are going poorly. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we can always shoot off a little bit of torpedo. Say hello to this giant point-blank range plasma torpedo. That's right, these guys are screwed. So we're probably going to try and turn, hopefully, because I have a feeling this plasma torpedo is actually going to connect, so we will actually target this guy instead, this iconoclast. Fire! And we dropped his shields down to 2. We've got our dorsal Mezua macro cannon. Fire! Guns! Oh, he's down. Oh, wow, those go straight through the shields? Holy crap, why don't we have more of these? Oh my God, they're attacking the torpedoes. That smart guy. Oh, he ran through it. I mean, I kind of wish he tried to ram the torpedo. Well, at least they're drawing fire. Oh, and we're still drawing fire. I don't know if we're going to last this one, bunnies. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Was that good? Was that good? Oh, it wasn't enough. If we can manage to do this, we might get him on lance, but then we are completely at the mercy of the other iconoclast, but this is an all or nothing game right now. Shot. Burn through that. Oh, he's down to 16. We got the dorsal guns. Fire. Open that. There it is. Shot on the right. We have no shield. Almost no shields. 29. Shot to the butt. Shot to the butt. Down to 34. We need to flip a Yui immediately. At least we have some straight. Oh, look at that. And we lured them in. It's almost like Top Gun. You're pulling them in closer. You're going to do what? We are deploying. We've got the lance shot out. Burn him. And he's lost the shield. Watch the torpedo. Hit the torpedoes. He's hit us for 12. We're now at 44. Close range. Big damage. 19. Oh, no. Lance. And he misses. Oh, my God. I don't know if we're going to. Oh, no, he's not going to miss this. He's not going to miss this. He misses. How? What have we done? How are we so good? Oh, my God. We're so good. Oh! Starboard, close range, iconoclast shot. Oh, did we not move? Did I hit space? Easy. All right, yay, we barely survived. Cool, that's embarrassing. Unknown Monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Lord Captain, we have received a transmission from Foul Stone. It was sent by members of the Order of the Hammer, votaries of St. Cognatius, whose monastery is the only settlement on the planet. Or rather, it used to be. Some time ago, a transport vessel, the Navica, unloaded several thousand refugees from a planet belonging to Roguetrader Winterscale. The Order of the Hammer has judged this invasion to be an act of aggression and is asking for your lordship's protection. We will not abandon people of faith in distress. Prepare a landing party and my shuttle. I'm taking the monastery. under my protection. Ooh, it's like away team. Just hopefully we're not the ones wearing the red shirts, yeah? As it pleases your lordship, Bunnyman. Chronicle compiled by the humble archivist Brother Petricos. 11 days after the feast of the passing of Nicomedes Keith, the champion of faith, disquietude marred the calm of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Countless tortured souls steeped in fear arrived on Foulstone in a star barbecue. Wait, did they really call this a star barbecue? Is that like a barbecue but in Warhammer 40k? I've never heard that before. That is brilliant. God, the writers in this game are so good. A great apostasy had befallen their home and turned them into abject wanderers seeking help and refuge. Their wicked and cruel captain, the owner of the Navica, had betrayed them. Once the unknowing souls in his care had made landfall on the world's surface, he most deviously recalled his shuttles and left, thus ridding himself of his duty of care to the unfortunate lot. Not knowing how they would survive in Foulstone's grim wastelands, the forsaken people came to the monastery of St. Cognatius, and there they surrounded its walls. They hammered their fists on its gate and implored and wailed, "Take us in! Protect us!" And what once was a place of serenity and grace was now full of din, disorder, and all manner of things despicable. The interlopers brought with them worldly futility and strife. After a prayer, the prelate Hectarchius turned his eye to the past in search of instruction. Prelate Hectarchius recalled the first missionaries to set foot on Foulstone's vast wasteland, led by their zeal for serving St. Cognatius. And those missionaries had received the blessing of Nicomedes Keith, the champion of faith who had traveled with them in their starbecue. Everyone loves a starbecue. To found in this place a humble and pure abode wherein to cultivate wisdom and piety. And St. Cognatius, a man of great endeavors, a warrior, a wise artificer, never cowered behind the walls of a librarium, but stepped bravely into the darkness, carrying light in the palm of his hand, and he commanded others to do the same. And not only Foulstone, but many other worlds of the Coronus Expanse bear its imprint. Bark is an archaic term for a naval vessel, pronounced bark. That probably makes a lot more sense. A star bark. I like it. Yes, let's go with that. That seems to make more sense than a star barbecue. Although I like star barbecue, I'm honestly I think I'm gonna name my next barbecue a star barbecue. That seems awesome. I mean, I love the concept of a star barbecue, but I think that means Starship HB. Okay, well that's embarrassing. Thank you for educating me. Okay, I feel a little bit silly, maybe a little sheltered, but the bunnies always keep me on the straight and narrow. Thank you so much. High five, bunnies. And Prelate Hectarchius did welcome the interlopers warmly as his guests, but he did warn his brethren to keep their vigilance. You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember in Beauty and the Beast, he says, "If it ain't bark, don't fix it"? No, well, baroque is what he said, but... The brethren and sisters of the Order of the Hammer came forth to meet the strangers, carrying water and protein victuals and medicinal herbs and jugs of promethium. Oh, we need promethium for a contract. But the crowd came to blows over viands, and blood was spilt, and many were trampled or mauled in the stampede, some of them dwellers of the monastery. Then the warriors of the Order of the Hammer donned their flat cowls, inscribed words of praise to the God Emperor himself on their tactical visors, and went forth ready to render service in battle. With lasgun, bolter, they pierced the interlopers. With their chainswords and power flails, they struck them. And a great and bloody harvest was reaped that day. But the interlopers, scant though their armament was, and scanter their skill in battle, slew many among the monastery's dwellers. For great were their numbers, and greater their desperation. The monks fled beyond their walls, rang the vox alarum, and shut the gate, and commanded the armed guards to keep watch over that gate, slaying any who approached. A quarrel broke out. The hungry and the sick lay siege to the monastery, begging for help. In their spite, they blocked the water collector, unpowered the generatorium. The faithful, in the meantime, made ready to resist, so they're under siege. And a miracle came to pass. The God Emperor sent his champion, his confidant, his right hand, the bunny trader of the blessed house von Valantius. May the light of his grace remain upon it forever. And the blessed bunny trader... Oh, wow. I like how this story's turning out. I didn't realize it's in present. I thought this was in the past. Apparently they're talking about us now. I mean, unless we exemplified ourselves in the past as well. There were many bunny traders before us, but there's only one bunny trader now, yeah? The blessed bunny trader extended a veil of protection over the interlopers, taking them into his care and thereby of all Foulstone with them. Humbly, the Order of the Hammer heeded the God Emperor's confidant and unsealed the airlocks and opened the gate of its abode and brought forth gifts of virtue to relieve the suffering of the ill-stricken. After a prayer, the architects set to work. In accordance with the saints' teachings and the parameters set forth in the STC standard template construct, they erected spacious living quarters and sturdy fort walls for the planetary militia and a spacious auditorium wherein to trade and store goods, and a proud censorum within whose walls clerks and servo bondsmen would maintain order and keep statistical records. Ooh, they probably got advanced Excel sheets. I like these guys. And a new yet righteous way of life came to Foulstone, and the people rejoiced, and all was good. Oh, look at us. Look at this. This is us, baby. We come like a avenging angel. Help has arrived. Oh, is that it? What happened? Projects. Ooh, what is this? Oh my God. There's more stuffs. I mean, producing things is useful, right? Yeah, you go for Drusus. Well, we have a new flamer now. That seems crazy. 2-handed ranged weapon, 6 range is amazing. The powerful, influential cult of St. Drusus is willing to take the young abode of faith under its wing. However, the Order of the Hammer accepts these gifts with caution, wary of the figure of Drusus eclipsing their own patron, St. Cognatius, in the hearts of their flock. Oh, hello, we've got Inhabited World. Oh my. The ruins of an ancient imperial city were discovered on a dead world completely deprived of an ecosystem. According to the reports, the entire settlement is contained in a titanic glass dome that once held an artificial atmosphere. Your augurs detected the framework of 3 other similar structures that were never completed. For whatever reason, the dome's systems failed, and left behind is this city, a ghost that never managed to become a proper colony of the Imperium. So we can either send out an away team to explore the city's temple district, that's very specific, order the scouts to gather as many supplies as possible, or drain the remaining fuel from the generator stations. The city won't need them anymore. Oh, I don't know about that. Explore the local palace. We'll go explore a local palace. A lavishly decorated estate of the local rulers towers over rows of featureless bunkhouses. Several explorers perished from the cleverly hidden tripwires in the courtyard, but after losing their companions, the team easily disarmed the remaining traps in the estate. Anything of value has been promptly delivered to the Roguetrader's vessel. The Lord Captain was even given an exquisite sword found in a secret cache that once belonged to the mansion's owner. We got Profit Factor 1 and a ghost sword? That's freaking cool. I don't know what a ghost sword is, but hopefully we can use it and it's not tainted by chaos. Send out a crew to the temple district, sure. We got trophies. Ooh, holy gifts. Oh, holy gifts. They give so much rep. A blessed bolter casing. Holy gifts. The temple district is situated at the heart of the city. The God Emperor statue, intricately carved from precious crystal, is suspended beneath the dome, supported by chains of gold, and can be seen from anywhere in the colony. Inspired by the majestic sight, the expedition members set off to explore the area with renewed vigor. Soon enough, they stumbled upon an ancient weapon lying on a pedestal, wreathed in sunlight. Ooh! The expedition brought it back to the ship and told many tales about how the Emperor himself, who had been watching them from above, had directed their attention to this sacred relic. Oh my God! Wait, the weapon is a bolter casing? I mean, I guess you could just like hang it on a chain around your neck and be Lady Argenta and just be proud that you've got this Emperor-blessed bolter casing. Oh, that's cool. Order the scouts to gather as many supplies as possible. Oh my God, we got provisions, we've got Mechanicus creations, ranged weaponry, and uniform kits. Your people flooded the city like a tidal wave, filled building after building, bunkhouse after bunkhouse, and receded from its quiet streets just as quickly. There were plenty of useful things among their findings, including foodstuffs and weapons. It takes several trips to deliver the massive Promethium storage tanks to your vessel. The crew grimly points out the colony was running out of fuel. Had the life support systems not failed prematurely, the locals would still have perished due to lack of energy, and will leave.
Lord Captain, according to the telemetry, the parameters of this system match those of Telecos Epsilon, home to the agri-world Janus that belongs to the von Valancius dynasty. We have received a Vox message from the planet. The Agri-World's governor officially welcomes the bunny trader and reports she has begun preparations for a formal reception to celebrate the arrival of the planet's sovereign. Your subjects are looking forward to your visit.
I hope my coming in Theodora's stead has not disappointed you too much. Maybe we'll tell her in private. Not in the least, your lordship. On the contrary, I am delighted, after all these years, to once again welcome to my world... Wow, he missed. Oh, she safeguarded her, I think. Oh, that guy is slow to react. He's just standing. Look at, he's still standing there. Whoa, whoa, wow. That guy's either a bad shot or an amazing shot. He shot over to his right and hit on his left. And yes, high five.
Your lordship, Emperor preserve us. Are you all right?
Do not fret, layperson. We have grown used to outrageous slovenliness among the wardens of every world we visit.
Pascal's vox, quiet at first, is booming with fury by the end of his remark.
Pale grayness is strangling this peasant like a noose. His words are laden with fear for our well-being, and yet he fears for his own even more.
I am fine. I can't say the same for the attackers.
Praise the throne. If you would please follow me. I will personally escort you to the governor, where you will have the protection of walls and wardens.
All right, fine. Lead on. Upon seeing you, the guard at the door lets out a frightened yelp and doubles over into a low bow.
Your lordship, the most honorable HBFT von Valancius, the governor is awaiting you in her office where she's protected by walls and guards. Would you prefer to meet with her alone or with your entourage?
My entourage will accompany me in my meeting with the governor. I'm not taking any chances with this place. Oh, what? So there's two people. She's casting or praying? She's got a halo or something. Vistenza Janus Viat ab Adam of Coronus is furiously swiping at a data slate, issuing commands into a gilded vox. Upon seeing you, she hurriedly puts away her devices, smooths her skirt, and drops into a deep curtsy. Wow, that's not suspicious. What the world?
Your lordship, accept my abject apologies for the reprehensible stunt that spoiled the reception. Even in my worst nightmares, I could never have imagined...
You can stop apologizing, Vistenza. I'm not offended.
Thank you, your lordship. Believe me, I'm infinitely sorry that the troubles of Janus have reached us even here, the most protected place on Janus.
The companion standing next to Vistenza respectfully bows her head. She's doggedly trying not to turn her head toward you, but it is obvious she's watching you through her lowered lashes. Well, she must be really large eyelashes, yeah. One of your wardens helped us in battle. A superb shot. Who was it?
Oh, you must be referring to Irliet, our chief ally in the struggle against the rebels. I have turned a blind eye to her horrific mutations, given the undoubted advantages she brings. You see, Irliet comes from the local degenerate stock of this world and knows Janus like the back of her hand. So she's provided several leads as to where we can find bases and secret storehouses. Although I admit that at times I am tempted to send her away from the estate. Her unnaturalness means that speaking with her always leaves me feeling uneasy. Such a gaunt, unfeminine figure, and so tall.
Jai leans forward curiously.
Gauntness of frame and tall stature are features common even among Voidborn, my dear governor. That does not make them mutants. Then pray, whatever do you find so disagreeable about this Iliet's appearance?
Vistenza cringes from the memories.
The strange movements, the strange looks, the abnormally large eyes on an unnaturally distorted face, the pointed ears.
Is she talking about the Ranger? If she's talking about the Ranger, from what I've heard in stories and codices, like the Eldar move with a way that they don't really look like they're walking. They kind of like float or glide. So it makes people around them a little unnerved. Yeah. The Eldar Hell. I don't like this. This smells more than a Nurgle pit. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, at least Nurgle, they're pretty hardy. If you need to hold a victory point, you're going to do it. Jai raises an eyebrow meaningfully.
Do I have news for you, Shireen?
But it is for your ears only. I will tell you when we meet our mysterious new ally. If you wish to speak to Iriolet, you will find her outside in the orangery, most likely by the gazebo. She prefers to keep a distance from others. Let's ask what's happening here first.
Several months ago, uprisings broke out on Janus. I was not even notified at first. Griping worms are for wardens to worry about. Alas, I only learned of what was happening after the miscreants began targeting noble families. Vistenza shakes her head. And then it became apparent that what the Administratum's accounts had referred to as unrest were in fact organized attacks on infrastructure and society leaders. They've already brought 13 agri-complexes to a halt, and have now moved on to assassination attempts. I risk angering you, your lordship, but this is nothing compared to shamelessly deceiving you. Let us consider the situation dispassionately. Even the most talented logistics experts of the Administratum are unable to guarantee stable times when shuttles are wary of landing at the spaceport, and the terrified peasants are indulging a dangerous minority within their ranks. Until the usual order of things is restored on Janus, any trade is nigh impossible. Considering what has occurred, your visit is a true blessing. You see, Janus does not have its own fleet. We could organize a planet-wide search if we had ships at our disposal. Ships like yours, your lordship. Perhaps you will find a way to support your subjects in their hour of need. I'm sure even approximate coordinates would be sufficient to have the ground forces and ship's crew work together to hunt down the enemy. Well, I'll track down these elusive fugitives myself. As for you, Vistenza, you will not be permitted to fail again. I am removing you from your post as governor of this planet. I am placing you under arrest, and when I finish with the rebels, I'll decide what to do with you. I want to make sure that we are doing this correctly, and we need to make sure that we can trust those that are in power. So we'll do number 6. Here we go. Vistenza lets out a ragged gasp, as though she's been punched in the stomach. Whoops. Your lordship, but I've served your dynasty faithfully and honestly. I've worked tirelessly to tame this unruly planet. She stops herself from speaking any further and nods. As you wish. Blessed bolter casing. Single attacks with bolter weapons automatically hit the target. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so, wow. Can I just say, firearm mastery requires singleton shots. That means all of your firearm mastery shots will just hit. Wow. That's terrifying and amazing all at the same time.
Iliad Lenevis greets you, Elantark.
Whoa, she looks cool. The bizarre creature before you only vaguely resembles a typical human. An elongated body, slender limbs, pointed features, every aspect of its appearance is unnatural and alien. The creature turns its head to you.
Would you look at this? Xenos. Oh, she devoured them, mingling with humans. Don't your lot think themselves above that? Anyway, it doesn't change the fact that it's a Xenos that's been cozying up to Viet, not a mutant.
There is fear in your words. You know what I am, and so I may no longer follow the shadowed path and must be direct.
That's not good.
My soul is nothing kin to yours. Your kind call us Xenos, as if we are all as one. I came here to protect the Lilithon by assisting the governor against her enemies.
The Lilithon.
Will you hear me, or be blinded to sense by your precepts?
To be honest, the only part I understood was that you have no desire to fight. That is one thing we have in common.
I have banished the shadow of doubt from your thoughts regarding my nature. Now you will answer my question. Why have you sought me out?
Why do you call me Elantark?
Because that is what you are. Elantark means stranger from the darkness amidst the stars. You descended on flame-winged machines in a dark time when the air of the planet is soaked in blood and pain. Will you be the one to bring peace to the Lilithon?
Your answers are not particularly helpful.
But you are not asking for help.
Oh, thank you. High five.
You are merely asking questions.
I would have missed it.
The answers to which are either unimportant or wreathed in shadow. Explore this place. Speak to those who know. A simple task for you, and an insurmountable challenge for me, since my very appearance provokes fear and suspicion. When you learn anything, tell me. Perhaps then my answers will be helpful to your search.
If you want, you can join me. None of the locals will dare to look askance at you in the Roguetrader's presence.
So be it.
Old servant is different. Hearing your footsteps, the elderly servant grabs an injector and stabs it into his arm. The area around the needle immediately starts turning black.
You're too late, Wyatt's dogs. I'm the master of my own fate.
But when he gets a better look at you, the man drops the injector in astonishment and seems poised to prostrate himself on the floor before you.
It's you, your lordship. The God Emperor must have brought you here. I beg you, help the rebels and save Janus.
He doubles up, hugging himself, and is racked by coughing that leaves his lips wet with blood.
Forgive me, your lordship. If only I'd known it was you. My eyes deceived me. We've little time now, but I swear I'll tell you everything.
Looking closely at the old man, the tech priest utters.
Nerve toxin.
Inevitable cessation of vital functions expected in no more than 60 seconds. Silent clicks emitted by the visor indicate an ongoing picked recording. Say whatever it is you want to say, and be quick about it. Yeah.
In the name of the Golden Throne, your lordship, show mercy on the humble workers, the salt of Janus. Save them. Vistenza Wyatt, the untouchable governor and leader of the nobility, is creating something monstrous behind closed doors. She uses the Imperium's interests as a smokescreen and purports to be a scholar, but her actions are poisoning our planet. Did you know the settlements that fail to pay their due tithes on time have been allowed to pay with people instead? They even deliver them to order. Sometimes old folks, sometimes children.
He lowers his voice to a whisper and leans toward you.
I've seen those people. I've seen them being delivered to the estate. And then they're never seen or heard from again. They go into the secret rooms. They don't come out again, your lordship. Ever.
Peasants who were taken to Urak 5 to serve House Ocelia were never seen or heard from again either. They became loyal servants and toiled for the good of a great dynasty. Why should they ever return to their filthy, squalid abodes? The old servant lets out a moan. The dark stain on his arm seems to creep through his veins until his arms and neck are a latticework of black. The servant's breath quickens and becomes irregular. You accuse the governor with only conjecture and rumor to back up your... he's dying. What secret rooms? What else is going on in the settlements? You can still be saved. He doesn't have much time. I think we can only choose one, so I'm going to say what secret rooms?
Hidden chambers deep within the palace. I've never been inside, thankfully. The servants who are allowed in, the ones that the governor trusts, they change. She changes them, pretties them up, defiles them.
I see no shadows of deceit behind your words, and even so, I would have noticed. I know I would have noticed the signs of which you... Iralet's face tenses like a taut string, and doubt creeps into her expression. Except, whenever Vistenza hosts one of her dances at the palace, she sends me away to search for the rebels, into the forests far from human settlements. You accuse the Roguetrader's appointed governor of heresy. If your words are false, they themselves are tantamount to heresy. But if what you say is true, if it is true, then your sacrifice will be to your credit, my good man. Argenta utters these last words with impassioned conviction.
I swear I'm not lying. Pray for me, holy sister. For me and for Janus.
The servant shakes and coughs violently.
I'm not sure I'll last long enough to answer all your questions.
Paying with people, children, secret rooms, mentioning of spontaneous mutation, defilement. This can only mean one thing. Chaos? Heck yes. That's not good. No, chaos is bad. But heck yes, because it probably means some cool loot. What else is going on in the settlements?
I'll tell you exactly what I was told by the people who contacted me. These tithes, some settlements have already switched to paying with people. They say that amenable settlements get special treatment from the governor's dogs. They arrange for medicine to be supplied to the settlement, then security, and then they completely isolate them. All contact between those inside the settlement and the outside world is cut off. One lad managed to get out, and he's the one who told me all this, that the people are rotting alive in their strange growths, yellow eyes stinking like dead bodies. The worst-looking ones are rounded up and taken away. The fellow who escaped, he seemed fine, but within a couple of days of the rebels picking him up, he started seeing monsters instead of people. They had to lock him away from other folks, the poor sod, and then his wrists...
The old man starts to convulse, indicating he's close to death. He raises his already unseeing eyes to you.
Your lordship, Bunnyman, if you'll permit a dying man to make one last request, please don't tell anyone I was the one who unlocked the doors. If you do, I'll go after my family, my home.
I will keep your secret.
Please save us. Save Janus.
The servant rasps violently and collapses on his side, racked with convulsions. Oh, that sucks. We can't even loot his body? Oh my god. Well, Emperor, protect him. Oh well, let's go. We
always have a
return to void ship. Elantak. Iriliat gestures for your attention. As you once sought my help, now I am seeking yours. The time has come to dispel the final shadows on our path. I have hidden the truth from you. Say what? I know a great deal about those who are disturbing the peace of the local ruler, and I also know where they are hiding. Allow me to show you the way, on the condition that you bring me to them. Why did you not say anything? No other path was open to me, but now our paths are aligned, and my decision was motivated not by caprice, but by reason, which compels me now to be honest with the person who can fix all this. Everything you've discovered, everything you've learned from your kind, they are all traces of the same calamity. A calamity that will eclipse all the strife and wars on the face of this world. All the signs were plain to see, but I was here and the monkey failed to recognize the coming storm. The bunny said she called me a monkey. Now I think I understand why. Please, follow me, HB. You must, if this world truly matters to you. What calamity are you even talking about? You're still holding back information. I will reveal the truth very soon, but not here. Not in the place where it seems evil has made its nest. Have patience, Elentuck. Trust me. I was beginning to get bored without living targets to shoot at. If one of the Imperium's worlds is in danger, so be it, I will follow you. Let's go, Alentuck. I pray to the gods that we are not too late. Oh boy. Ooh. Irliat's usually dispassionate face is contorted in a grimace of pain and rage. Your elucidator activates when she begins speaking in her own language. I swear on Kane's riven heart, Mwaran, you will pay for your treachery. May Morai Heg sunder your fate and cast it away. May the blood of Eldanesh flood your throat. Well, well, who knew a tempest was raging beneath the unruffled surface? Calm down, it's already over. I don't know who you're talking about, but I promise I'll gladly help you pour the cup of suffering down their throat. Get a grip. I doubt that will be the last battle we see today, and I need allies with all their wits about them. Irliet closes her eyes, sucks in a breath through her teeth, and quickly murmurs something. When she opens her eyes, her face is once again a mask of cool serenity. She looks at you and begins to speak, this time in low Gothic. Please excuse me, Elantek. I allowed the turmoil in my soul to win out over my reason. A slip like that could cost me more than you can even imagine. My very soul. I must be more careful, even in the face of treachery. Why did Irliet become... I don't know. I'm not very good with accents. Isn't it time you told me what's going on here? I see no other path. You deserve the truth. We call ourselves the children of Asurian. Eldar is another name of ours. We are the echoes of the great empire that once ruled the galaxy and created new worlds. The planet that you call Janus is one such maiden world, the Lilithan. A haven that our ancestors made for their kin. For many millennia, only the shadows of our predecessors lived among the ruins until you humans came here. We are the heirs, and we are entirely within our rights to call the maiden world our own. However, our arrival is a tragedy, not a homecoming. Sorrow seeps into Irliet's voice. We belonged to craft world Krudarak, which fell on the border of this star region. Only the providence of the merciful gods allowed us to escape the fate that befell those whose souls perished amidst the stardust along with our abode. Destroying an Eldari craft world is a serious achievement. I'd like to shake the hand of whoever did it. Abelard ixnay on the killed Eldari stay. His green visor flashing with interest, Pascal carefully clarifies. Which border exactly? You don't need to know that, Iron Monkey. I am aware of your looting practices. After the calamity, the Lilithan offered my kin a sanctuary, a place of respite in the ruins of our ancestors, under the canopy of the forest created by the wisdom of our world singers, living alongside your kind who reap the fruits of our labor with such vulgarity. You came to Janus along with the rest of the Eldari? No, my path brought me to the Lilithan later. Iliad hesitates. By another route. It was Muaran who welcomed me here. He was one of the surviving Farseers of Krudarak. He was with a handful of Asuryani who had escaped death and found the path here, to the destroyed cradle of our kind. They were outraged when they saw how the Monkey had ravaged our flourishing garden. How are your kin connected to the uprising on the planet? The Asuryani do not enter battles they cannot win. However, it is in our power to direct the currents so the elements themselves wash obstacles and enemies from our path. And so it was in this case, Muaran, the Farseer from Krudarak, saw a future without the Monkey, and we followed his lead. We simply used the Monkey's passions against them, their love of freedom and anarchy, their love of domination and violence. Stoking enmity between servants and rulers is easier when your targets are governed by emotion rather than reason. My kin became military advisors to the Monkey, who rose up against the ruler of this world. I had a different mission to become Vistenza's handler, since the rebels would be unable to get to her until both sides were sufficiently weakened. The ruler of the humans had never seen a child of Asurian before, and so she accepted the lie about a degenerate branch of Monkey dwelling far from their own kind. Why would a handful of Xenos go to war against a whole planet? You can't kill everyone. Wait, why are you telling me all this? Like, what's brought on this candor? Elantak, your arrival has thrown my paths into disarray and lifted the veil on the truth that had been hidden from me. While I was shadowing the humans' ruler, I failed to see the signs. Signs that there was another threat looming over the Lilithan besides the Monkey's deeds. The threat should be familiar to you, as it is to other intelligent species in the galaxy. We call it Silantresh, she who thirsts, goddess of chaos. Oh, great! Silantresh and she who thirsts are the names the Eldari gave to the chaos god Slanesh. Oh, so it's not just Tzinch, but it's all the chaos gods now. We also have to deal with Slanesh, their ultimate enemy. Slanesh is the god of passion, excess, forbidden pleasure, and is known for his fickle and treacherous nature. Disfigurements, it seems you call these mutations, are the surest sign of this threat. By mutilating living forms, this malevolent power subjugates them and bends them to its will. You've seen the deformities in the faces of those who are closer to the Lilithan's body than others, the rebels who hide under the canopy of these forests. The Monkey are weak in spirit. They are susceptible to the propositions of she who thirsts, and in their drive to attain her poisoned gifts, they perform perverse rituals in her name, rituals that require sacrifices, like the Monkey, who were brought to the palace and never seen again. The Lilithan's world spirit senses the threat and resists as much as it is able. The living things that inhabit this world are becoming its weapons, weapons turned against the Monkey. Poisonous plants, rabid beasts. These are all like a blade in the Lilithan's hand as she fights the coming of Silantresh. The signs that have been revealed to me, they all indicate the presence of corruption on this world. Tendrils of corruption may be threading through the world spirit, poisoning it even as we speak. But for corruption to take hold of the planet so quickly requires effort. Effort directed by the will of another. Iliad pauses. I believe Vistenza Viat is enthralled to the will of Silantresh.
What? Vistenza Viat? The governor who has duly served the dynasty and the Imperium for decades. HBFT, I hope you will not stand for such scurrilous slander aimed at one of your finest servants.
As lamentable as it may be, the Imperium's history knows many cases where even the most steadfast followers of the creed would turn away from his light. Governor Viat had to tap into many founts of knowledge to turn Janus into a prosperous agri-world. Perhaps one of those founts became her undoing. Maybe Vistenza's tainted from consorting with the archenemy. We will have to find out for ourselves. Perhaps the signs I uncovered have failed to convince you. I pray to the gods that other proof, something more comprehensible to you, will emerge to sway your opinion. Silantresh is deceitful and cunning. She subtly penetrates the soul. offering false perception, luring victims into her web with promises of a wicked ideal. The ruler of the Monkey perhaps does not even know that her soul has been corrupted. Look, if we want to meet with the leaders of the uprising, we better get moving. The webway, I mean? The tall being in a fine long garment turns to you, their face hidden behind the blank visor of their helmet. When they begin to speak, even from a distance, you feel the air around the figure grow cold. Monkey, you should not be here. Irliet strides forward, her eyes flashing. Moiran, I am calling you to account. You said that the great danger threatening the Lilithan lurked in the hearts of the Monkey, in their greed and ignorance. And all the while another enemy was looming over this world. An enemy whose tracks you should have seen in things to come. Silent Thresh, she who thirsts, is threatening this world. And you hid it from us. Answer me. Did you or did you not behold our greatest foe in the Lilithan's future? Did you lie to me? After Irliet's words, the two tall Eldari behind Moiran start moving. One looks around at the leader, while the other lets out a cry muffled under his visor. The rebel beside you cringes as though the Eldari speech causes him pain. He strains to say something, but Moiran makes an imperious gesture, and the soldier meekly straightens up and salutes, staring at the Xenos with slavish devotion. The robed figure inclines their head, and then they begin to speak. Iliad the outcast, you left the path that was set out for you. You brought unknown Monkey to our refuge, and now you speak to me with unseemly anger. Your long wanderings far from Krudorak have altered your mind and tainted your sight. Stop pretending I'm not here. Xenos fallen here will say nothing. My wanderings are the path I have chosen for myself, far from the walls of Krudorak. I have seen and come to know things that no other Eldari could hidden away in a craft world their entire life. Why do you deny my words about Silent Thresh? Is it because you were lying to me and my kin when you showed us the true path? This Elentak was the first person to discover the coming of Silent Thresh. One of those whom the Monkey call Chaos Gods. Without him, I would still be deceived by your words about destiny and the true future. Monkey revealing paths. Ludicrous. Monkey bring pain and strife. In our time, for all time. How can you trust a Monkey after what we taught you? After hearing the sorrowful song of the dying world, Moiran turns his head toward you. It was not chance that brought Krudorak down. Monkey destroyed our ancient home, stripped us of our defenses, doomed us to wander amidst the cold stars. The colors of these Xenos are painful to behold, but there's just as much pain in their hearts. Or could it be fear? Despair? I cannot tell. The hues are too strange, too... Kasha flinches and a trickle of blood runs down her cheek. I'm sorry to hear your home was destroyed, but I wasn't there and know nothing of this calamity. Moiran gazes at you intently. If these words had come from an Eldari, I would have believed them. But you are merely a Monkey, a plaything of your own passions. Any emotion that takes hold of your soul can drive out all trace of reason and honor. You are playing with words and avoiding the question. Notes of desperation and rage are creeping into Irliet's voice now. The Lilithan is under threat from our eternal foe, and yet you're more concerned about the presence of the Elentak than the corruption that is flowing through the veins of this world. Did you never consider that your war might simply be hastening Silent Thresh's triumph? Perhaps the ruler's servants, in their efforts to protect her, will resort to more and more instruments of corruption. Moiran leans down over Irliet, his tone menacing. You left Krudorak in our darkest hour to gratify your ego. You came to us on the Lilithan, and I accepted you as one of our own. I even gave you a real purpose. Iliad the outcast, and you dare to insult me of Farseer. It was a mistake to let you into our circle. You have turned our efforts to survive into dust with your own hands. I am a child of Asurian Waran, not a plaything in the cold hands of fate which you claim speaks through your mouth. My choice of path is no worse than yours or any other Eldari's, and my path calls me to fight our true enemies, not eradicate the Monkey. If it comes to it, I will stand with them for this Elentak and see what you are blind to, Farseer. Iliad's eyes are alight with fury. She pointedly lays her hand on her weapon, looking away from the Farseer. My duty is to protect my worlds and my vassals. If Janus is being threatened by the archenemy, I will fight to the end. The words of a creature whose will is ruled by momentary whims. There is nothing you can do to make me believe in the strength of your conviction.
Oh my god. Oh, yep. They shouldn't stand so close to the Eldar. What the heck? He's a breakdancer. That's amazing. Did you see that? Holy crap. That is awesome. We'll dismantle this guy and just keep swinging till he dies. And yes, we did it.
Iliad surveys the field of battle. May the gods guard us against pride and wandering in the vagaries of fate. Hey, are you all right? All right. I am overcome with grief, anger, anguish. But if I give free rein to my emotions, I will be imbibing it. The thing that has already entangled the Lilithan, and it seems befuddled the mind of the one who was called to lead my kin. My kin have trusted in the visions of Farseers for millennia to show us our path through amidst the stars. But throughout my life on the Krudarak, I have too often seen knowledge of things to come as changeable and capricious as deep water currents weave chains around the bodies of those who fear to enter murky waters. That is why I became an outcast, renouncing the traditions of the Krudarash and leaving its confines to seek out my own path. Perhaps the Krudarak's demise filled Mwaran with so much sorrow it poisoned his mind. Or perhaps it was hatred for the Monkey who desecrated the face of the Lilithan that plunged his mind into darkness. Tank, thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest, and we'll catch you on the next one, man. Have a good one. Or perhaps Silent Thresh herself was playing Farseer, appearing amidst her poisoned gardens. Iliad begins speaking more quietly, though harshness breaks through in her voice at times. I will never learn the answer to this question, but perhaps if I uncover the secret of Krudarak's demise, I might be able to lift the veil, even a little, on this mystery. There is nothing more to be done here. It's time to return to the shuttle. Iliad gives you a long studying look. Wait, Elentak, before you leave these forests forever, take me with you to the distant suns. The tale of the children of Asurian on the Lilithan is coming to an end, but somewhere out there among the cold stars of the cosmos that your kind calls the Expanse, there are others, deprived of home, lost, suffering. Iliad shuts her eyes and grief twists her finely sculpted features. We can help one another, Elentak. You will be my wings, I your wounding spear, and your voice of reason, or voice of command, should you encounter my kin. If that is still not enough, Iliad thinks for a moment and continues carefully. I promise you a wondrous reward, Elentak. The treasures of my world hidden in the vastness of space in exchange for the rescue of my kin. If you remain true to your word and do not go back on our covenant. I have always wanted to add a Zenus. It is an honor to welcome an Eldari wanderer into my ranks. You do not lack for boldness. Even your request is worded not as a plea but a treaty. But I like it. So we have a deal. Iliad looks at you, tilting her head slightly. Do not forget that the Lilithan still needs help. Vistenza Viat must be slain so that the maiden world can live. And remember your promise, Elentak. When we leave the Lilithan, it will be to go to the distant stars. Waran saw them in his visions, and they sang mournful songs about the fate of my people. And I will fight beside you until the song of the stars turns into a funeral lament. The surviving rebels are panting heavily, catching their breath after the battle. One by one, they look at you expectantly. People of Janus, you have suffered enough. The Xenos have been taken care of. Now it is time to free yourselves from the chaos-worshipping governor.
All right.
Jubilant cries shake the forest. The survivors shout out your name, praising the Roguetrader and gabbling promises of eternal loyalty. It seems that with the removal of the Eldari, an unseen weight has been lifted from their shoulders. I found the rebels' nest, Vistenza.
Have you really, your lordship? And what have you learned?
Everything. That is not your concern, Vistenza. You have far worse problem to deal with.
What are you talking about, your lordship?
You have woven your web of deceit in vain. You can no longer hide behind the veil of ignorance. HBFT has seen the evidence of your deeds, heard the cries of the tormented Lilithan, walked amidst the decay that you brought to the maiden world. Enough of your lies, chaos wretch.
Idiot!
Vistenza exclaims breathlessly.
How dare you, you filthy vermin! I will have you flayed for that outburst. Your lordship, what is going on? The colors are darting to and fro like startled shadows. The colors know that they are the veil that stands between the soul and the truth. If the veil falls, all will turn red and purple. Even now, I can already see the muted purple seeping through.
Look, we've already heard enough, Vistenza. But if you wish me to repeat myself, we know your loyalty lies with the ruinous powers. Vistenza clenches her teeth so hard you hear a crack.
I, daughter of House Viat, governor of Janus, and citizen of the Imperium, serve no one other than the Emperor and the Von Valancius dynasty. And what you're accusing me of is merely a tool at my disposal, a tool I have the power and courage to use. Do you think ordinary methods would have been enough to tame this demented planet? No. My family struggled for decades to subdue Janus once and for all, and it was all in vain. But loyal servants of those families who've resided on Janus for centuries helped me to unlock a new source of power. Ancient knowledge secretly passed down from generation to generation, accessible to a select few, and which grants power over nature itself. How could I reject it? How could I undo all the work of my predecessors, who were entrusted with Janus, who faithfully served the Von Valancius dynasty, and who with a madman's obsessiveness hewed this rock into a stunning diamond? 2 days spent among the initiated was enough for me to start hearing the voices of angels in my ears. Angels who gifted me the keys to conquering this world. And before you offend my ears with more accusations or moral admonitions, remember who has dutifully served your dynasty all these years. Remember who has devoted her life to turning Janus into the primary source of wealth in your protectorate. Remember to whom your predecessor entrusted one of her most valuable words without fear of treachery or conspiracy. Without me, without my service, my sacrifice, Janus would be nothing.
Pascal's vox emits a pensive hiss.
Behold, proof of why knowledge must remain in the hands of the worthy. Many lay people are capable of possessing it, but a wise mind that is not bound by oaths of obedience to the Omnissiah is vulnerable to corruption and free thinking, even more vulnerable than the mind of an ignorant commoner.
What more proof do you need, Elentak? The Monkey has confessed to her handiwork. I will not allow a miscreant like you to continue wrecking evil.
You made a mistake in thinking that anyone would come to your aid on my world. Servants to me.
I'm guessing this is the secret room.
Oh.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, great. Yeah, what have you done? Oh, that's lovely to have on the wall. That's pretty good, I guess. Irliet lowers her weapon, but her shoulders remain tense. She finally catches her breath, shaking her hair out of her face in a fluid motion, and looks at you. You have done your duty, Elantek. From now on, the Lilithan has hope for the future. A future without Cylon Thresh and her followers. This world is yet to be cleansed, but there is a time for everything. Now is the time to thank you. Irliet bows her head slightly. Well, I hope that's the last I'll hear about cultists on Janus. So the heretic is dead. Now what? There is no doubt that our visit has, well, stirred up the inhabitants of this place. But it is unlikely that the devotion to she who thirsts will outweigh their fear of your authority. Whatever it is based on in your society, you have nothing to fear. She turns her gaze on you. What about you, Elantak? Will you return to the skies? To the blackness amidst the stars? To seek a way through the gloom and tread the paths of more and more new worlds? Will we ever meet again? I hear yearning in your words. Why don't you come with me on my travels? I could use a good markswoman. Irliet straightens up to her full height. Go with you? She purses her lips, considering something. Perhaps that way I could search for traces of my kin, who survived the destruction of our world. Or even find out the cause of their deaths. Well, Elentak, since your will supersedes human laws on Zenith, and I will face no reprisals while I am by your side, I accept your offer. We now have control over the granaries of Janus. There we go. The promise of help given to the liege of Footfall Vladame Tokata can now be fulfilled, should the rogue trader so desire. Send provisions to Footfall, giving its inhabitants new hope and asserting their right to rule over the station. Yes, there we go. The inhabitants of Footfall Station will praise the bunny trader who spared them the painful choice between starvation and succumbing to the reign of Incendia Corda. To welcome the new bunny trader, the Adeptus Mechanicus' planetary office brought to the ship an offering of several versatile macro combines, ancient machines whose carcasses had been found on Janus and carefully restored. The Sacred Steel Titans will serve the von Valancius dynasty. Heck yes. Oh, and on top of that, it seems like we can now have a new colony. So if we need to, oh my god, there's new things. There's Tears of Repentance, which are consumables. There's Star Blight, which is Drukari weapon proficiency. So we can't use it, but Jai Hidari can. And Sophocracy, which is the Pexilium stimulant. Bonuses for a couple of rounds, so it looks like we've got efficiency and provisions. Well, I mean, if we've got to choose, I would like to get the profit factor. In the days of the mutiny, many among Janus's pampered nobility fled the planet. They're to be replaced with more enterprising servants. A small but ambitious Ultraquisitor syndicate belonging to the Kasbalika mission has contacted the rogue trader with a lowly request to entrust the governance of Janus to them. With Vladimir Tokata pushing all of his competitors out of the cold trade, the Ultraquisitors are hoping to change their line of business and become dignified aristocrats serving House von Valancius. Oh, I don't like how that sounds. That sounds wild.